Imagine something smaller than the head of a pin, something you might never notice crawling across your skin, capable of permanently altering your life. That's the tick. These nearly invisible creatures carry some of the most insidious diseases known to modern medicine, including Lyme disease and alpha-gal syndrome, a condition that triggers a severe allergic reaction to red meat. Lyme disease cases have tripled over the last 15 years, and alpha-gal is quietly spreading across regions where people once thought they were safe. This is not a distant threat, it's crawling through your backyard right now. Here's where most people go wrong. There is a deeply rooted belief that mowing your lawn keeps ticks away. It feels logical: short grass, no hiding places, problem solved. But this is one of the most dangerous myths in outdoor safety. Ticks don't live in the middle of your neatly trimmed lawn. They live in the edge zones, the boundary where your yard meets a tree line, a fence, a garden bed, or a pile of fallen leaves. This is called the edge theory. The leaf litter and shaded, moist margins are where ticks wait, not under your feet in sunlit open grass. Mowing your lawn gives you a false sense of security, while the real danger sits just a few feet away at the border. This is where an Amish farmer named Elias enters the picture. Living close to the land for generations, the Amish developed practical, chemical-free solutions to pest problems long before modern pest control companies existed. Their methods are simple, inexpensive, and grounded in a deep understanding of nature. What Elias knew about ticks, most people today have never been told. My name is Elias. I live in rural Pennsylvania. My yard backs right up against woodland, and for 3 summers, ticks were everywhere. I thought I was doing everything right. I wasn't. The foundation of the Amish tick repellent method is cedarwood oil, and the science behind it is surprisingly sophisticated. Cedar contains 2 powerful natural compounds, thujonic and plicatic acid. When a tick is exposed to cedar oil, these compounds attack the tick's respiratory system at a cellular level, effectively suffocating it. Ticks breathe through tiny pores in their exoskeleton, and cedar oil blocks and destroys that mechanism entirely. It doesn't just repel them, it kills them. Now here's where the market takes advantage of you. Companies like Wondercide and Setarcide sell cedar-based tick sprays for around $30 a bottle. These products work, but what they don't tell you is that the core formula, pure cedarwood oil in a water-based carrier, costs you roughly $4 to make at home. The markup is extraordinary, and the recipe is not a secret. The homemade formula is straightforward. You need pure cedarwood essential oil, not cedar-scented fragrance oil. It must be the real thing, distilled water, and an emulsifier to help the oil bind with the water, which hazel or plain vodka both work perfectly as emulsifiers. Combine these in a spray bottle, shake well before each use, and you have a tick-killing spray that performs comparably to the premium store-bought versions. Application is everything. Spray along the perimeter of your yard, particularly at the edges where grass meets wooded or bushy areas. Pay attention to fence lines, underneath decks and porches, and around wood piles, all known tick harborage zones. Reapply every 2 to 4 weeks under normal conditions, and always reapply after heavy rain, which washes the treatment away. Consistency matters more than volume. Daniel is my Amish neighbor. One morning he mixed something right in front of me, oil, water, which hazel, and said it cost him $4. I had been paying $30. If you have cats, this section could save their lives. When professional pest control companies treat your yard for ticks, they almost universally use permethrin, a synthetic chemical that is highly effective against ticks and safe for dogs and humans. What many of these companies fail to volunteer is that permethrin is acutely toxic to cats. Even small exposures can cause neurological damage or death. The reason cats are so uniquely vulnerable comes down to liver biology. Cats lack a specific liver enzyme called glucuronyltransferase, which most mammals use to metabolize and eliminate certain chemicals, including permethrin and many essential oils. Without this enzyme, these substances accumulate in the cat's body to toxic levels. A dog walks through a treated yard and processes the exposure without issue. A cat does the same and can go into seizures. This brings us to a harder truth about the professional pest control industry. A single yard treatment might cost $75 to $150. A monthly contract, which most companies push aggressively, runs $700 or more per year. The financial incentive to keep you dependent on their service is enormous. Teaching you that a $4 spray bottle and a bag of cedar chips can replicate most of their results would destroy that revenue model. It's not that the professionals are lying outright, it's that the entire business model depends on you not knowing what Elias already knows. Even with the natural cedar oil approach, caution is necessary. Around cats, never spray cedar oil directly on your cat's bedding, sleeping areas, or anything they rub their faces against. Keep treated areas dry before allowing cats back into the yard, and use the spray sparingly near spaces where cats spend extended time. Natural does not automatically mean safe, it means a lower risk profile, not zero risk. I started visiting nearby Amish farms. An older woman told me her neighbor's cat died 2 days after a professional spray. She said they never warned him. The spray solution, as effective as it is, requires ongoing commitment. Every 2 to 4 weeks, you're mixing and applying. Life gets busy, you miss a cycle, and the protection lapses. For those who want something more passive and long-lasting, the cedar chip barrier is the answer. The concept is elegant. Ticks travel from wild areas into your yard on foot. They crawl, they don't fly or jump. If you place a hostile environment at the exact point where the wild meets the tamed, you stop them at the border. To build this barrier, lay a band of cedar wood chips that is 3 feet wide and 3 inches deep running along the entire edge where your yard meets any natural area, a tree line, a hedge, a fence adjacent to a field. Cedar chips are naturally repellent to ticks through the same oil chemistry we discussed earlier, and they also create a dry, loose, exposed environment that ticks hate. They prefer moist, dark, dense leaf litter. Cedar chips are the opposite of that. The cost concern is a barrier to entry for many people, but here's a hack that can make this essentially free. Local tree trimming and arborist services generate enormous quantities of wood chips every single day, and most of them pay to dump these chips at disposal sites. Call a few local companies, explain that you want a truckload of wood chips delivered to your property, and a surprising number will do it at no charge. It saves them a disposal run. Websites like ChipDrop also connect homeowners with arborists looking to offload chips. The research supports this method strongly. Agricultural and entomological studies have demonstrated that a properly installed wood chip barrier can reduce tick crossover by approximately 80%. Combined with the perimeter spray, you are creating a layered defense system that is more comprehensive than what most professional services actually deliver. I went back to Daniel with a drag cloth to actually test the barrier. His side 1 tick, the untreated side 11. Same morning, same conditions. The most underrated trick in this entire system costs almost nothing. Take a strip of duct tape, wrap it around the outside of your socks and pant cuffs with the sticky side facing outward. That's it. Ticks that are climbing upward from the ground, which is exactly how they travel, always from the ground up, never dropping from trees. As the popular myth suggests, will stick to the tape before they ever reach your skin. Each strip costs roughly 3 cents. It sounds almost embarrassingly simple, and yet it directly addresses the primary vector of tick attachment. The falling tick myth is worth addressing directly because so many people waste effort looking upward when the real threat is below. Ticks position themselves on low vegetation and leaf tips using a behavior called questing. They hold on with their back legs and extend their front legs outward, waiting to latch on to a passing host. That host is almost always encountered below knee height. Your socks and lower pant legs are the primary risk zone. Now let's look at the complete financial picture. A professional tick control contract for a standard yard runs between $600 and $700 annually. Sometimes more, and typically involves repeated permethrin applications that carry risks for pets and local insect populations, including pollinators. Your complete Amish method system: a bottle of pure cedarwood oil, distilled water, witch hazel, a one-time cedar chip barrier sourced for free or cheaply, and duct tape comes in. At approximately $12, the protection level, when the system is applied consistently and correctly, is comparable. Your action plan for this week is 3 things. Buy pure cedarwood essential oil, begin laying your cedar chip barrier along the yard's edge zones, and start taping your socks before any time spent outdoors. These are not complicated steps. They are the kind of accumulated practical knowledge that once lived in farming communities, and is now, unfortunately, being sold back to you in a $30 bottle. Next time, the old Amish method for driving mice and rats off your property without traps, without poison, and without a single call to an exterminator. Last summer, my kids played outside every evening. No ticks at bath time. Total cost? $12. That fence line barrier is still holding.